right. So Bitcoin took quite a tumble this week.
It did.
Dropping below $100,000.
Yeah.
We've got a stack of articles that we're going to kind of deep dive into today.
All right.
And
Looking forward to it.
Try to see what happened and what it all means.
Yeah, what it means for the future.
And it's interesting because while the price dipped, some of the big players in the Bitcoin mining space seem to have doubled down.
Yeah, there's some contradictory actions happening right now.
Yeah.
Like, the market's down, but these major Bitcoin mining companies, MRA, Hut 8, they're increasing their Bitcoin holdings.
Yeah, like MRO just bought 15,000.
Yeah, 15,574 Bitcoin.
To be exact.
Yeah, which brings their total to over 44,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah, over 44,000. That's worth over $4.4 billion.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It is.
And Hut 8 is right behind them. They added almost 1,000 Bitcoin.
990 to be exact, and that brings them to over 10,000.
Yeah. So, I mean,
these guys are top Bitcoin holders globally now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And how did MRA finance all this?
So they issued some convertible bonds to the tune of $1.925 billion.
Wow.
And they mature in 2030 and 2031.
Oh, wow.
And they issued them at a price over 40% higher than their current share price.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. So they're basically saying, we think our share price is going to be much higher than this in the future.
Yeah, that's right. They're betting on themselves and on the price of Bitcoin.
It's a big gamble.
Yeah.
But what I found really interesting is after they made these announcements, MRA and Hut 8's stock price actually dipped.
Yeah, it dipped 5% and 7% respectively.
So the market's not too sure about this.
Doesn't seem like it, does it?
No. But they're not the only ones, right?
No. Riot Platforms also joined the party, picked up $510 million worth of Bitcoin.
Okay.
And then, of course...
We can't forget about MicroStrategy.
No, MicroStrategy, always the 800-pound gorilla in the room, right?
Okay.
They added another 15,350 Bitcoin to their holdings, which brings them to 439,000 Bitcoin total.
Oh, my God.
Worth over $45 billion.
Wow. So they are really...
They are the poster child for institutional Bitcoin investors.
Yeah, they're all in.
They're all in.
That's amazing.
It really is. And, it really begs the question, are these guys crazy or are they geniuses?
Yeah.
I mean, are they just catching a falling knife here or are they going to make out like bandits?
Yeah. Are they being really strategic here and taking advantage of this dip? Yeah. Or, like you said, are they catching a falling knife?
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
El Salvador is another big player in the Bitcoin space.
Yeah. The first country to adopt it as legal tender.
Right.
Yeah. So everybody's been watching them.
Exactly. But now it looks like they're kind of having to shift their strategy a little bit.
Yeah, it seems like they are. They just got this $1.4 billion loan deal with the International Monetary Fund. The IMF, and, they've got to abide by the IMF's conditions.
Yeah. What are some of those conditions?
Well, for starters, they have to kind of curb some of their Bitcoin activities.
Okay.
So like businesses in El Salvador, they can still accept Bitcoin, but it's no longer mandatory.
Okay.
They've also scaled back public sector involvement with Bitcoin.
Okay.
And they're reducing the government's role in managing that Chivo wallet.
Right. Their national Bitcoin wallet.
Exactly. And probably most importantly, they're going to continue to collect taxes in U.S. dollars.
I see. So it seems like they're kind of trying to walk this tightrope between, their Bitcoin ambitions and what the IMF is requiring.
A delicate dance.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's interesting because even though over 90% of Salvadorans reportedly don't use Bitcoin for transactions,
right,
they're still buying it daily.
That's right. They're not giving up on it. They're still buying it every day.
Yeah.
So that raises the question, what do they know that we don't?
Yeah.
Are they just, overly optimistic or are they really seeing the long-term potential?
Yeah. So we'll have to continue to watch.
Absolutely.
So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the technical side of things because Bitcoin took a pretty steep drop this week.
It did. 8% decline in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Down to 93,740.35.
Yeah, and with a huge trading volume.
Yeah, massive. $118.6 billion worth of Bitcoin traded hands.
Yeah. So what can you tell us from the technical analysis?
So the charts are painting a very interesting picture.
Okay.
We're seeing some mixed signals here.
Okay.
So support levels are at 90,780 and then 88,730.
Okay.
And resistance is up at 97,730 and 100,760.
Okay.
So, it's struggling to break above those resistance levels,
Right.
which suggests that there isn't a lot of bullish momentum.
Okay.
But the RSI,
Right.
the relative strength index, is currently sitting at 31.
Okay.
Which
And what is that?
suggests that it might be oversold.
Okay. So for those of us who don't really follow technical analysis, what does that mean, oversold?
So basically, the RSI is a momentum indicator, and readings below 30 suggest that, there's been a lot of selling pressure.
Okay.
And it's a signal that that selling pressure might be exhausted.
Okay.
And we could see a bounce in the near term.
Okay. So it could be a good buying opportunity.
Yeah, potentially.
Okay.
But, it's important to note that the 50-day exponential moving average,
Right.
which is another technical indicator,
Okay.
is still above the current price
Okay.
of Bitcoin. It's up at 102,940.
Okay.
So
That's bearish. Right?
that's a bearish signal,
Okay.
suggesting that, we could continue to see some downward pressure.
Okay. So we got conflicting signals.
Yes,
That's right. Technical analysis isn't perfect.
Right,
It's just one piece of the puzzle,
right.
but it's an important piece to
I know.
consider.
All right, so this price drop, it didn't just affect the price.
It did not.
It also triggered a whole wave of what are called liquidations. Yeah, a bloodbath.
Yeah. Can you explain what a liquidation is?
Yeah, so essentially when a trader is using leverage and the market moves against them,
Okay.
they get liquidated, their position is automatically closed out
Oh,
because they don't have enough margin
I see.
to cover their position.
Okay.
And that can trigger a cascade effect.
Gotcha.
It can really push prices down.
And this week we saw a lot of that.
Yeah, $1.4 billion
Yeah. $1.4 billion in 24 hours.
in just 24 hours.
Gone.
Wiped out.
Yeah, that's incredible. And the majority of those liquidations came from long positions.
Yeah, $662 million from long positions.
Yeah. So these are people who thought the price was going to go up.
That's right. They got
Sure.
caught on the wrong side of the trade.
Yeah. Some sources are saying that it was closer to 800 million.
Yeah, that's right. It's hard to get an exact figure,
Yeah.
because all the data is not always publicly available.
Right.
But regardless,
Yeah. It was a lot of money.
it was a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And part of the reason why this happened was because of what the Federal Reserve is doing, or I guess not doing.
Yeah, that's right.
They're not cutting interest rates like people thought they would.
Right. They're being very cautious.
Right.
And
So,
that spooked investors. It made them a little bit risk averse.
okay.
And, when Bitcoin catches a cold, the rest of the crypto market tends to sneeze.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we saw, a lot of selling pressure across the board.
And we don't have exact numbers for how much Ethereum got liquidated.
No, we don't, unfortunately.
But other cryptocurrencies like XRP, Dogecoin,
Yeah.
Solana, they got hit hard.
Yeah. XRP about $40 million in liquidations.
Wow.
Dogecoin 29 million, Solana 23 million.
Yeah. It's a reminder that this is a very interconnected
It is.
market.
Yeah, one thing happens over here, it can affect something over there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow. So this is a fascinating space.
Yes,
It's
it
weird.
is.
You've got institutional investors buying the dip.
Yeah.
You've got El Salvador kind of shifting their strategy a little bit. You've got
Yeah.
all this technical stuff going on
Right.
with liquidations.
Yeah.
The Federal Reserve, looming over everything.
Yeah, it's never a dull moment in the crypto markets.
Never a dull moment.
That's for sure.
But then amidst all this, we've got the rise of Santa Trump.
Santa Trump, you gotta love it,
Right.
right?
This Christmas-themed meme coin.
Yeah, what a story. In the midst of all this, serious market turmoil, this Christmas-themed meme coin appears.
And it's up 10,000% since launch.
That's right, 10,000%. Amazing.
That is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And there's rumors that the World Liberty Financial Team,
Yeah.
which is a project linked to Donald Trump, might be involved.
Right. Now, I have to emphasize that these are just rumors at this point.
Right.
Unsubstantiated.
Yeah.
But,
Still interesting.
still interesting.
Yeah. And some people are saying that Santa Trump could hit $1.
Yeah. Some analysts are saying we could see a 100x from here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, a listing on Binance,
Yeah.
that would really boost this thing.
That would be huge. Binance is the world's largest crypto exchange.
Right.
So if Santa Trump got listed there,
Right.
that would really propel it into the stratosphere.
Yeah. And there's also some speculation that it might be included in the Binance Alpha projects,
That's right.
which would also be huge.
Yeah, that would be huge as well.
So,
It's amazing how,
yeah, even in a bear market,
meme coins can still thrive.
yeah, there's still this appetite for
Yeah.
meme coins and for
speculation.
Yeah.
I think people are just looking for a little bit of fun in these uncertain times.
Yeah.
And meme coins provide that,
absolutely.
a little bit of escapism.
Okay, so while Santa Trump's been having a great time, Ethereum hasn't.
No, Ethereum's been struggling.
Yeah.
It's down 15% for the week. 5% in the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
It just can't seem to break through that 4,000 resistance level.
Yeah. What do the charts say?
Well, the analysts over at TradingView are suggesting that we might see a period of consolidation here.
Okay.
With Ethereum potentially bouncing between these support zones.
Okay.
So basically what that means is that we could see the price moving sideways for a while.
Okay.
Finding its footing before making another big move.
Right.
So we might see a little bit of a reprieve from the volatility in the short term.
Okay, so like a pause before the next move.
Exactly.
Now, this recent flash crash also impacted the funding rates for Ethereum.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is a metric from CryptoQuant.
Yeah, CryptoQuant is a great resource for on-chain data.
Yeah.
And these funding rates, basically, they tell us about the sentiment of traders in the futures market.
Okay.
And what we saw was that the recent flash crash really cooled down that overly optimistic sentiment.
So people are a little bit more cautious.
They are, yeah. The funding rates have come down significantly.
Okay.
So that's suggesting a more cautious approach from traders.
So it was like a reality check.
Yeah.
For them.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a wake-up call.
Right.
Hey, this market can move against you.
Right.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. So we've covered a lot of ground
in
this first part.
We are
our deep dive.
Absolutely.
We're just getting started.
Yeah. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Right. So we still have a lot more to unpack.
We do.
But we're going to save that for the next part.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
And we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back.
All right. So we're back. And I want to pick up where we left off.
Okay.
Talking about those technical signals, because I think that's something that a lot of people are looking at.
Yeah, it's definitely top of mind for a lot of traders.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to know where the market's going.
And technical analysis can give you some clues.
Right. And so we talked about, the 50-day EMA being above the current price.
Right.
Which suggests bearish momentum.
Exactly.
But then we also have the RSI flashing oversold.
Right.
Which suggests a potential rebound.
That's right.
So it's kind of like this, push and pull.
Yeah, a tug of war.
Right.
Between the bulls and the bears.
And it's interesting because technical analysis can be both fascinating and frustrating.
It can.
At the same time.
Absolutely.
Because it gives you all this information, but
no guarantees.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you exactly what's going to happen.
It doesn't. It's not a crystal ball.
Right. So how do you suggest, our listeners use this information?
So the key,
to their advantage,
is to understand that technical analysis is just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
Okay. There are other things you need to consider.
Like what?
Like market sentiment.
Okay.
News events.
Okay.
Macroeconomic trends.
Okay.
And most importantly, your own risk tolerance.
Okay.
And investment goals.
Okay.
So don't just blindly follow the indicators.
Right.
Do your own research.
Okay, so don't just look at the 50-day EMA and say, oh, it's bearish.
Exactly.
I'm going to sell.
Right, because the RSI might be telling you a different story.
Right.
And then there might be, some news event that's about to come out that's going to completely change the picture.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's really about building this holistic view of the market.
Exactly.
And not just relying on one
indicator or one piece of information.
Right. Okay, so speaking of those other pieces of the puzzle.
Yes.
We can't forget about the Federal Reserve.
Oh, the Fed.
They are really,
looming large.
Yeah, looming large. And they're not cutting interest rates like people thought they would.
Right.
So what impact do you think that's having on the crypto market?
Well, I think it's definitely contributing to the uncertainty.
Okay.
Investors are a little bit spooked. They're not sure what to expect. And so they're pulling back from riskier assets.
Like crypto.
Okay. And that's understandable because when the Fed is raising rates or even just signaling that they might raise rates, that makes other assets like bonds more attractive.
Gotcha.
So, there's less demand for crypto.
And that can lead to those big liquidations.
Exactly.
Like we saw this week.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, so it's really, it's almost like the Fed is the puppet master.
In a way they are.
And we're all just the puppets.
Dancing to their tune.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Now let's talk about something a little bit more fun.
Okay.
Santa Trump.
Santa Trump, the meme coin that could.
Right.
What a story.
Right, no, it's crazy.
In the midst of all this market turmoil,
Yeah.
this Christmas-themed meme coin appears out of nowhere.
And explodes.
And it goes parabolic.
It's up 10,000%.
10,000%.
Since launch.
It's unbelievable.
It is pretty crazy. And, we talked about those rumors about the World Liberty financial team being involved.
Yeah. And, again, I have to emphasize that these are just rumors.
Right.
But it's interesting.
It is interesting.
To think about, because if they are involved,
right,
that would give this meme coin
some legitimacy.
A lot more legitimacy
right.
than your average meme coin.
Yeah. And then you've got those analysts saying that it could hit $1.
Yeah. 100x from here.
Yeah. That would be incredible.
It would be amazing.
Now, a listing on Binance.
That would be the catalyst.
That would really do it.
That would be the fuel.
Right.
That would launch this thing to the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's something to watch.
Nah.
For sure.
For sure. Keep an eye on that one.
Now, while Santa Trump's having a great time, Ethereum.
Not so much.
Is not.
No.
It's down 15% for the week.
Yeah, it's been a rough week for ETH.
Yeah, and it just can't seem to get above $4,000.
Yeah. Yeah, that 4,000 level is like a brick wall.
Yeah.
It just can't seem to break through it.
So what's the outlook for Ethereum, do you think?
Well, according to the charts,
right.
we could see a period of consolidation here.
Consolidation meaning?
Meaning that the price could move sideways for a while.
Okay.
Kind of find its footing. Before making another big move.
So it's like a pause.
Yeah, like a pause for breath.
Right.
Before the next leg of the journey.
And do you think that this is a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it could be a good thing for investors who are looking for a little bit of stability. Yeah. After all this volatility.
Right.
It could be a chance to kind of catch your breath.
Okay.
And, reassess your portfolio.
Gotcha. Okay, so consolidation doesn't necessarily mean...
It doesn't necessarily mean that the market's going down.
Right.
It just means that it's kind of taking a break before making its next move.
Gotcha. All right. So this recent flash crash also impacted the funding rates for Ethereum.
Yeah, that's right.
Can you explain what funding rates are?
So funding rates are basically the cost of holding a leveraged position in the futures market.
Okay.
So when funding rates are high, that means that traders are very bullish.
Okay.
They're willing to pay a premium to keep their long positions open.
Okay.
But when funding rates are low, that means that traders are more cautious.
Okay.
They're not as willing to pay a premium.
Oh.
And what we saw with the recent flash crash is that the funding rates for Ethereum plummeted.
Okay. So that means...
That means that traders got a lot more cautious.
Right.
They're not as optimistic as they were before.
So it's like the air came out of the balloon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like a reality check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we've talked a lot about, the price of Bitcoin, the price of Ethereum. Yeah. We talked about Santa Trump.
Yep.
We talked about the Federal Reserve. But I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about those institutional investors because they seem to be playing a different game.
Yeah, they are.
They are.
They have different time horizons, different risk tolerances.
Okay.
And access to information that most of us don't have.
Right. So when we see them buying the dip, does that mean that we should be buying the dip too?
Well, that's a great question, and I don't think there's a simple answer.
Right.
It's important to remember that what might be a good strategy for them might not be a good strategy for you.
Right. Okay.
So you have to do your own research and make decisions that are right for your own situation.
So you're saying don't just blindly follow the big guys.
Don't just blindly follow the whales.
Okay.
Gotcha. Do your own research.
Okay.
Figure out what's right for you.
No, their involvement does bring some legitimacy to the space.
It does.
Right.
It does. When you see these big companies like MicroStrategy putting billions of dollars into Bitcoin, that sends a signal to the market.
That Bitcoin is here to stay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And, that can attract more traditional investors who might have been hesitant before.
Right. So that could be a good thing for the long-term growth of the crypto market.
Absolutely.
Okay. And it could also lead to more sophisticated products and services.
Yeah, exactly. As more institutional money comes in, we're going to see more innovation, more financial products and services being built.
And that's going to make it easier for the average person to get involved.
Exactly.
Okay. So it's like building this, more mature.
A more mature ecosystem.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So that's exciting.
It is.
But it's still a volatile market.
It is. Very volatile. So you just have to,
buckle up.
Yeah.
And enjoy the ride.
All right. So what are your final thoughts for our listeners?
So my final thoughts are, stay curious.
Stay informed.
Stay informed. Okay.
And most importantly, stay engaged.
Stay engaged.
Yeah. Don't just, check out because the market's volatile.
Right.
Stay engaged.
Okay.
Keep learning.
Keep learning.
And, just enjoy the journey.
Enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Okay. And so speaking of the journey, we're not done yet.
No, we're not.
We've got one more part.
One more part.
To go.
Where
we're going to delve even deeper.
We are.
We're going to go down the rabbit hole.
Okay.
So stay tuned.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to our deep dive. We've talked about the markets and Santits and all kinds of things.
We have.
But one thing that I really want to circle back to is those institutional investors.
Yeah, they're the ones to watch right now.
They are.
They are?
Because like you said, they're playing a different game.
Yeah, they have a longer term view.
Right.
Much longer than the average retail investor.
Yeah. And so when we see them, buying up all this Bitcoin, what does that tell us?
Well, I think it tells us that they believe in the long-term potential of Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Okay. Yeah. They're not just, buying it to make a quick buck.
Right.
They're buying it because they think it's going to be worth a lot more
right.
in the future.
In the future. Okay.
Yeah. And, they're not afraid to hold it for years.
Oh, so this is really a long-term
It is.
play for them.
This is a long-term play.
Right.
They're not worried about the day-to-day fluctuations.
Okay, so for them, this dip...
This is a buying opportunity.
Is a huge buying opportunity.
Yeah, they're scooping it up.
Yeah. Okay, but I guess the question is,
yeah,
should we be doing the same?
That's the question, isn't it?
Because, they have a lot more information than we do.
They do.
They have analysts.
Teams of analysts.
Right, they have all these resources.
And, they have a lot more capital to play with.
Right. So they can afford to take more risks?
They can. They can weather the storms.
Right.
That would wipe out most retail investors.
Okay, so it's not necessarily a level playing field.
It's not. It's not at all.
But I guess, what can we learn from them?
I think the biggest lesson is to focus on the long term.
Okay.
Don't get caught up in the hype.
Okay.
Don't try to time the market.
Right.
Just buy what you believe in and hold it for the long term.
And hold on for dear life.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's the key takeaway here.
Yeah. Patience is key in this market.
Patience. Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, their involvement also, I guess, brings some legitimacy to the space.
It does.
Okay.
When you have these big institutions
putting
billions of dollars into crypto.
Right.
That's a vote of confidence.
So they're saying this is
not going away. A real thing is here to stay.
Okay, and that could potentially lead to, more adoption.
It could.
By the mainstream.
Yeah. As more people see these big institutions getting involved, they're going to be more likely to take it seriously.
Okay.
And, that's what we need. Well, to really drive mass adoption is for people to take it seriously.
Now, you did say earlier that, this market is still very young.
It is.
It's very volatile.
Very volatile.
And we just have to kind of buckle up and enjoy the ride.
That's right.
So I guess the question is,
is
it worth it?
Well, that's a question that each individual investor has to answer for themselves.
Okay.
There are risks.
Yeah.
But there are also potential rewards.
Right.
It's a high risk, high reward market.
Yeah. So I guess the question is, what's your risk tolerance?
Exactly.
Are you willing to
ride the waves?
Yeah. To stomach the volatility?
Or you're going to get seasick.
Yeah. Okay. So
do your research.
Figure out what your risk tolerance is.
Exactly.
And then make a decision.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's some great advice.
I hope so.
And I really appreciate you coming on. And
it's been my pleasure. Breaking all this down for us.
Anytime. Happy to do it.
This is very, complex space.
It is.
And you've done a great job of
I try my best.
Of kind of simplifying it and explaining it.
Oh, thank you.
For us.
I appreciate that.
So thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And so for our listeners out there, stay curious, stay informed, stay engaged.
Absolutely.
And we'll be back next week.
We'll be back
with another deep dive into the world of crypto.
Until then, happy investing.
Happy investing.